Hello, student of class 7. Today I am going to continue the lesson the Mughal Empire. In the last video we discussed about Jahangir, and the last days of Jahangir was written through the written on a book called Tuzuk-e-Jahangir. So here, after Jahangir, his descendants Shah Jahan became the Mughal emperor. So Shah Jahan was ruling over India, the Mughal empire, from 1628 to 1658 Christian era. Shah Jahan's original name was Khurram, Prince Khurram. When he ascended the throne, he took the title of Sahabuddin Muhammad Shah Jahan. He was born in 1592 to Princess Manumati of Marwar. So here you can understand that though the Mughal Empire belonged to the Muslim community, they used to correspond with the other religions, especially the Hindu religion. So in this way, Prince Khurram belonged to the son who gave birth, and that was the princess of Marwar Manumati. So she was a Hindu princess. In 1612, Shah Jahan married Noor Jahan's niece Mumtaz Mahal. Noor Jahan's niece Mumtaz Mahal. So the story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal was quite acquainted with the people at present, and also the romanticism that when Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal for Mumtaz Mahal. So Shah Jahan led successful military campaign. Military means military expedition against Mewar, Kangra and the Deccan Kingdom. So what was the Deccan Kingdom? The Deccan Kingdom, that is peninsular India, in the southern part of the peninsular India, is known as the Deccan Kingdom. Here Shah Jahan contributed a lot in presenting a various system. Shah Jahan contributed a lot in various systems in regarding building, architecture, and it is because of the Shah Jahan who have tried his level best to bring out a face in India, and it is because of Shah Jahan we can see various monuments that were built during his reign. So during Shah Jahan, the architectural setup in India was at peak. Then while his conquest to various parts of the country, so he sent his son Aurangzeb to subdue the rulers of Bundelkhand at Orcha. Subdue then means to suppress. So the ruler of Bundelkhand was going against the Mughal emperor, and the Mughal Empire wanted to bring the king of Bundelkhand under the subjugation of the Mughal Empire. So in this way, Shah Jahan sent Aurangzeb, his son Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb was a good commander for fighting against the enemy of the kingdom. Shah Jahan then went to Bengal to put down the growing powers of the Portuguese, that was a foreign ruler. The Portuguese were carrying out illegal trading activities and were believed to be forcibly converting people to Christianity. You see, the Portuguese came to India, and it was believed that the Portuguese were forcibly trying to convert the Indian Hindu people to Christianity. Not only Hindu people but also the Muslim people. More than 10,000 Portuguese were killed and many imprisoned by the Mughal king, that is the Aurangzeb, who was sent by Shah Jahan, his father. Kandahar was another place which Shah Jahan wanted to capture, which was strategically important. Strategically important, that was, it was a border of the western side of the country, and Balkh in Central Asia. Neither of these attempts was successful. What was the result? We don't know. What was the history of it, but was not successful. And again, there was an outbreak of famine during the tenure of Shah Jahan. Famine, do you know, when there is less production of food, people don't get to eat food, the people started to starve in hunger, they die. So this outbreak is called as famine, and famine is coming in a region all over the places, it becomes regionalized. And again, after famine, when people get less nourishment, less food, they are vulnerable, they become vulnerable to diseases. So in this way, after famine, plague followed. After famine, plague means a disease epidemic. So in the Deccan, Gujarat and Khandesh, Shah Jahan made extensive arrangement to help reduce the suffering of the people. This was very good attempt. Even the British didn't do anything when there were famine. The work of the British, the exploration of British, you will understand later when you go in class 8, 9 and 10. Again, as I have already mentioned, the architectural setup of Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan was a master builder. He was a good architecture. When Mumtaz Mahal died in 1631 CE, that is Christian era, Shah Jahan built a monuments which is popularly known as Taj Mahal nowadays, to house the tomb of his beloved wife. Aha, what romantic, you see. The Taj Mahal remains one of the wonders of the world. It is regarded as 7th wonders of the world. Okay, understood? Taj Mahal is the 7th wonders of the. So now, architecture, what is important? If you go through the textbook, you will understand some various monuments which were built by Shah Jahan. But during the tenure of the Shah Jahan, attracted by the Mughal Empire and the various trade treaties by Shah Jahan, trade treaties that was signed by the British in between Shah Jahan, that is Mughal Emperor, and the British or other European businessmen. So there were many European visitors to come to who travel to India for earning huge profit from India. So there were French travelers whose name was Bernier and Tavernier. Italian travelers, his name was Nicolas Meneguzzi, and English visitors visited the court of Shah Jahan and have left vivid descriptions about his rule. So it is upon this description the British tried to set up their footholds to rule over India. Just after the death of Aurangzeb, the British tried to take over the kingdom in various ways. These things we will learn later when the Mughal Empire declined and modern history started. You will learn these things after class 7, that is from class 8 when you learn. But to the end, in 1657, the Shah Jahan, the rule of Shah Jahan ended. And why Shah Jahan it was ended? It was unexpectedly, Shah Jahan was seriously ill. His 4 sons, Dara Shikoh, Shuja, Murad and Aurangzeb, battled for the right to succeed their father. Now, their father, a father was a king, a ruler, a Mughal emperor, and his 4 sons were struggling against each other to take the throne of the king of the kingdom. So as a result, the battle for the right of the successor to succeed their father was fought. So here the history says that who won? Who won? Tell me. Can you say? That is after Shah Jahan who came the ruler? Definitely Aurangzeb emerged the winner. And here emerged became the next Mughal emperor of India. The Agra fort with all its treasures was surrendered to Aurangzeb, who made his father a prisoner for life. You see, now again Aurangzeb, when Shah Jahan became ill, he was not dead at that time. He didn't die. Instead, for succession, for ruling over, his 4 sons were quarreling with each other. They were fighting with each other, and Aurangzeb was victorious. And Aurangzeb arrested Shah Jahan and put him into the prison. His own father. Do you know why is it? You see, as I already mentioned, that Shah Jahan, it is not here and it will be criticized for a Mughal emperor. And in history it says that Shah Jahan was he was becoming older enough, and Aurangzeb thought himself that he will be a better ruler. And upon Shah Jahan was spending huge amount of money in architectural setup, in various architecture. He built Taj Mahal and various things. So in this various monuments. So in this way, Shah Jahan was spending the national treasury, the royal treasury of Mughal empire, and slowly the treasury was emptied down. So in this, Aurangzeb found the gravity of the situation, and he immediately acting to it, he arrested Shah Jahan and he put his father into prison for life. And there, at the age of 74, inside the prison in 1666, Shah Jahan died. Okay, so this was the story of Shah Jahan, and in this way we have found that Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal ruler to rule over the Mughal empire. In the next video we will discuss about the the tenure of Aurangzeb, and we will understand that how European came. A small part we will understand that about the ruling of Aurangzeb, and also how European came after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD and took over the kingdom, and slowly, and thereby starting another colonial empire in India. So for the time being, I remain with this topics of Shah Jahan in this chapter. I hope so you will understand, and you need to understand, because I have heard that many of the students are not understanding the lesson. Definitely my English is simple, and you have to understand, as you are an English medium student. The main fact is that you are not trying to understand the lesson and not reading the textbook. Reading the textbook is necessary. Only this small stint of video is not sufficient. See the video, like, for your boosting up of your understanding, and read the textbook. And after reading the textbook, some words or some sentences will not be acquainted by you. You will not understand those part. So better underline it, and in the next session you may ask me in my WhatsApp group. So it is necessary, at least I will understand that you are watching the video and trying to understand the lesson. Otherwise the time will be gone, you will not understanding, and you will say that you don't understand. And one more thing is that the video is in English. You are an English medium student. I don't understand that you don't understand English. What is the thing of it is? And to escape that you are not understanding, to escape of taking the online classes from me or from the other teachers, you are doing this kind of pretext of bahana. So obviously I have to take step against you, and next time you will see that I will put something behind you with this when the school will open after the lockdown period, because you will be within my reach. Otherwise, understood or not? So better you need to watch the video. And for the time being, I remain, and thank you.